Can you hear me? Oh, okay. All right, Jane, we're gonna miss you, but you come back. Can y'all hear me? Anybody hear me?
Ihi.
All right, Mado, somebody, Mado. All right, it's Tungun. Jokayadega. Or it's Tungun Jokayadega ga. This is more appropriate because y'all in a group here. It's Tungun Jokayadega ga. That's more because I'm talking to more than just one person. It's Tungun Jokayadega ga. And yesterday I was at that Indigenous Day at the council house. Did anybody get to go? It was pretty cool. For once we have a day of our own. And so it was pretty cool to see all these Stijatis gathered up in one place. And I know they were having one in Tulsa, so I know there was a few up there too. So and Istijati Innita. Istijati is red persons. Innita is their day. Okay, so that's a literal translation. And Istijati is, that's what we call, even our language, we say Istijati Bunaga. Istijati Bunaga. Red persons language. That's how we say it. It's literal. So Innita means their day. Istijati Innita, Indigenous Day. And we have a lot of talented natives from what I saw yesterday. We have a lot of talent, And so I was listening to some of it, and we had a resource table out. And not just talented in they were singing. I see some natives singing, jewelry making, sewing. There was a lot of talent that I saw that a lot of people overlooks. I noticed that yesterday. You don't see our fashions in Walmart. You don't see our basket makings in Walmart. You don't see our singers on award shows. And I sat there looking at them and I was thinking, okay, why not? Why not? And it just made me go, and I think all the time, like I told you before, they say I was told I think all the time, but why not? I saw a lot of talent. And it was good to sit there and watch all this and have thoughts about it. It was something that so I just was wondering, just sitting there listening to all these little, some were young, and I saw some art. I saw some beadwork, skirt making, ribbon skirts, singers, drummers, and they don't we're still in this different world. Remember, I told you we live in a different world. We're different. We're still different. And not in a bad way, but it's only for our people, I guess, for only us. But we appreciate what they do because they are our people. Okay, so let's get into this lesson, but I had to share that with y'all. So right here, Halloween. Somebody asked for Halloween words. Did anybody think of another word that they wanted we could try to translate, you know, I know there's more words in this that people's got, but like pumpkin, Jesse. And you know, like I told you before, there's different pumpkins. There's pumpkin that we eat, and there's pumpkin that we decorate and we carve. I've never eaten those real dark orange ones, but I do cook the one that's called the Indian pumpkin. My family loves that to death, and so I buy it, cut it up, stick it in the freezer, and we even have it during the holidays. Zombie. Isti ila hisaga. Isti is person, ila is dead. Hisaga means they're breathing though. Isti ila hisaga. Dead person breathing. And that's what a zombie is, I think. You know, black cat, forgy lusty. Everybody associates forgy lusty with bad luck, not keep you going. But my grandma used to say, it's good to have a black cat, so I always had a black cat. Forgy lusty, oje, lege universe. I always had a black cat. Duckfaliliska. Duckfaliliska is a bat. That's an original word right there because it's not descriptive. Duckfaliliska. Duckfaliliska. Duckfaliliska is we must have had those around. You know, in fact, here not too long ago, I did a storytelling in Okiba, and there was a bat in that theater. And it landed on my pants leg. And you know, I thought about that forever because that's unusual. And you know, when something unusual happens to people, it can be good or bad. And I thought bad of it, you know, because all these people that was there, it landed on my pants leg. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, they had to do that. And I looked down at first, I didn't know what it was. And I kind of touched it and I knew exactly what it was. And I stopped my leg and it flew off again, you know. And I took it as bad. You know, I took it as like, oh no, it's telling me something. Because that don't happen to you. I mean, how bad of all these people, that big old building that lands on my leg. Skull. Iga funny. Anything that's a bone is funny. A bone is funny. Okay? A bone is funny. But iga is head. See, this says skull. And that's the right, in English word, that's the right word for this right here. Iga funny. This is head bone. Head bone. That's the only way we can describe it. Graveyard. Isti hobilga. Isti is person and hobilga means to bury them. Okay? So it's not, this English says graveyard, but this is saying person buried. Isti hobilga, to bury a person here. People buried here. So see, this is not literal. It's saying what it is. It's a place to bury people. Corpse. You guys excuse me, I'm still going through this thing. Corpse. Corpse is isti ila ina. Oh, isti ila ina. Sorry. Ila is dead person. You know, isti ila ina. Ina is a body, and that's what a corpse is. It's just a body. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to get y'all to do here. Look at this. Corpse. It's isti ila ina. It's a person that's dead's body. A person that's dead body. That's exactly what this is translated to. Isti ila means a dead person. Ina is a body. Okay? That's a corpse. Dark, Yomuchki. Decapitated. Decapitated means their head's been cut off. We can't say the head's been cut off. We can, but it would have to go into like a sentence. So we would just say Iga Sigo. Iga is head, Sigo means none there, nothing there. Igasigo. To hex or put a spell. Mvhayv. Mvhayv. A shadow, a BT, and this can be used not just a shadow. A BT is like a shade, okay? It can be a shade of a tree. It'll a BT like a tree shade. But that's what's exactly what your shadow is. It makes a shade. If you stand and it's sunshiny, you'll make a shade. So it's called a BT. And even a camp house, like a camp, it's called a BT. As long as it makes a shade, it's called a BT. And that's what a shadow is. So a shadow, in English, it means the shadow of a person, but it can mean ours is the shade of a person. Shade of a person, shade of a tree, it's a BT, okay? Evil, hitigo. Hitigo is opposite of hitida or hiti. Hiti is good, right? But when you say hitigo, means no good or evil. No good. Witch, botha. Okay. Witch is called a botha because they they put a hexed spell on you. Botha is a witch, which they associate these two together. Okay? Blood, jada. Casket, tuhahawa. Tuhahawa is a box, and that's any box, okay? Which we consider a casket, a box. Tuhahawa. So anytime we talk about a person's casket, we call it tuhahawa, a box. We call it a box, okay? Spider, ajok fanwa, ajok fanwa, ajok fanwa. Cauldron, and that's that big old pot that you set outside. This is not something you put on a cook stove. This is what you put on outside, and they look like, you call them the witch pot. Lihaya taco. And this is lihaya is li is short for ili. Haya, leg maker. Leg maker, big. Lihaya taco. That's what that translates to. It's a big, and it does have legs on it. It has legs. Satan, dinikteja. Dinikteja means somebody that burns you. Burns you, okay? Dinikteja. Nikteja is a burner. Dinikteja, dik means burn you. Dinikteja, okay? Nikteja means somebody that burns things, okay? Like nikti is burned. Nikteja is somebody that burns something. How? Wohohogi. Look at that word. Wohohogi. How? Anybody can say the wolves were howling. The dogs were howling. But we say wohohogi. Yahat wohohoges. Yaha wohohogi wohes. I heard wolves howling. Nithifology wohohoges. The nithifology or coyotes. We don't have a word for coyotes. We call them night wanderers. Okay, wohohoges. The coyotes are howling. Now look at the ending though. When you listen to me, wohohogi is how. But if I say nithifology wohohoges, the coyotes were howling. Yaha wohohoges, the wolves are howling. If I wohohoges, the dogs are howling. And when you think about this is what I look at language as. I can say wolves are howling, coyotes are howling, dogs are howling. But to say wohohogi sounds almost like a song. Wohohogi. Wohohogi. Mask. Tuthopa soktanga. Tuthopa is face. Soktanga means covered with it. It's a cover for your face. And that's a mask. Midnight. Niti nakaba. Niti is night. Nakaba means in the middle. And middle of anything can be middle of a table. Nakaba can be in middle of a table, middle of a road. Nini nakaba, middle of a road. Oho mida nakaba, middle of the table. Okay? Nakaba can be used long as it's a middle. But midnight in English means it's in the middle of morning and night. So we say niti nakaba, midnight. Moon, hatisi, monster, honka, honka. We say honka, but in a dictionary it says honka. So, but we say honka. And that's how my kids know it, they say honka. And like they'll walk in through our carport, because my husband's got it all decorated now. And they'll say honka, honka, honka. Anything that is a monster or even a ghost is honka. When we were growing up, sometimes some people would like knock on the window or knock on the wall and say, y'all guys, especially if we're a baby that just wouldn't listen or was crying, especially when they're like 3 or 4 years old, they would knock on the window or something and they say, Ma, honk it off the door. There's a monster out there. Well, and they would kind of listen to kids and they would scare them, and I don't know if that's healthy now or not. Emotionally, it didn't hurt us. But anyway, my aunt, they lived in Oklahoma City in an apartment on the 2nd story. And their baby kept crying. Yeah, he wasn't listening. He wasn't listening. He was just being, I don't know what you want to call it, just being, just doing what he was doing, just because he could. Well, anyway, this was on 2nd story. She knocked on the window and she said, that's going to get you. And she knocked on that window. Something knocked back at her. And they told us it would. They said, y'all quit knocking on that wall. Something's going to knock back. And see, I still tell my grandkids that don't be kicking that wall, because sometimes they'll just kick the wall or they'll be making with their toes. They'll be like laying against it and just tapping it. And I'll say, y'all better quit, because something will do it back to you. And then if you holler at night or screaming at night, they'll say something will scream back at you or holler back at you. I always tell my grandkids that. And so when she did that, knocking out, see, this was a strange thing. 2nd floor, apartment building. She knocks on the window and something knocks back. She quit that after that. She never did do it again. She never did it again because that happened to her. And things like that happen to us supernatural, supernatural things, I guess or oddities, or little things like that happen. Moon is Hatisi, monster honka. What's an owl? Oba. Oba. Pitchfork, jofonwa. Pitchfork, jofonwa bakod. You can call it a big fork. But this one is where situation and environment comes in, okay? Situation and environment. Jofonwa, if you're sitting at the dinner table and you ask for jofonwa, you're talking about a fork that you eat with. But if you're outside and you're doing yard work and you ask for jofonwa, you're talking about a pitchfork, okay? Hobithi is a fog. But look at all these sounds. This is in your sounds, guys. Look how many words it made. Hobithi is a fog. Fog. Hobithi is one of the names of our Red Sticks warrior. He didn't want to do land sessions. He wanted to fight. You know, he wanted to keep our tradition. And you know, now it was a good thing that he did. You know, now instead of being taken away from us, we're giving it up. I haven't given it up. I still have my ways that I was raised by my family. I still have my ways. And I never gave them up. My kids know how to live the way we live. And it was conditioning, I guess, in modern day psychological deal, it was a conditioning that I lived the way I did because my mother was conditioned to live that way. Her mother was conditioned to live that way, and it was passed on to me. So I still live that way. But Hobithi is what Hobithi Yahola's name was. And you know, he's pretty famous. You know, and I've heard all kinds of names. Apostoli, I can't even remember everything they named him, but the right word. But my grandma said, Hobithi Dundos. His name is Paul. Hobithi. She never called him Papafali or whatever. She called him Hobithi. Flashlight, Gulgoji. This means Gul is short for Golgi. But when you put Gulgoji, Uji at the end, remember it's smaller, it means a small light. And that's what we call a flashlight, Gulgoji. Grim Reaper, Do Wallabijeja. Wallabijeja means to cross something over. Do Wallabijeja means cross that over. So a Grim Reaper is crossing that dead person over. Okay. Crossing that. My grandson was a Grim Reaper one year, the older ones, you know, and he you couldn't see him, but he looked just like a whatever they look like. I just saw pictures. I don't know what the real one looks like, but he looked like a Grim Reaper. He was dressed as one. Count Dracula. Dracula is different from vampire. So Count Dracula is Jada Iska, blood drinker. Iska is a drinker. And that can be anything, or Iska. We homi Iska, liquor drinker. Jada Iska is blood drinker. Because Count Dracula just wasn't a regular person. He was like the king of all. So we called him Jada Iska Miko, blood drinker king. Skeleton, Istifuni. Okay, see? You have Igafuni, which is head bone. This is Istifuni, person's bones. Okay? That's what you call it. Candy. We didn't have candy. We called it jamba, something sweet, or candy, something sweet. It's jamba. And my grandkids know that. Yesterday, I got home from work and my kids haven't had anything sweet in a while, you know, because we're trying to hold them back because of Halloween coming up. And because, you know, we do our little thing with them. And so we haven't been giving them that much sweet. And I made a cake after I got home from work yesterday. I made a cake. And that little boy, they went to play ball, so my oldest one come in and she said, "What y'all have for supper, Grandma?" And I said, "There's some food up there that I put in the refrigerator for y'all." She said, "Okay," and my little grandson said, and, jamba. He said, "Kaylee, jamba." He was telling his sister there's something sweet, jamba. He said, "Kaylee, jamba." See, he doesn't call her Kaylee. He says, "Gila." He said, "Jamba." And so she said, "Where at?" And he said, "On a counter." Excuse me a minute. And so he called it jamba. Hey, okay. okay? Wicked, Holwayija. Holwayiji means mean, okay? Holwayija means a person that is mean. But wicked is the same thing as mean. Scarecrow, Bucky Isti, Bucky's grass. Isti is a person. It's saying grass person. Ajoksan Hoya. Ajoksan wa Hoya. But we cut, remember I told you, we talk different, so we say Ajoksan Hoya. We take the wa up. This is formal. Ajoksan wa is spider. Hoya is the web. We don't have to put this in there. We can just say Ajoksan Hoya. Vampire. Jada Iska. Jada Iska. Mummy, isti ila Guthrie. Okay, that's going back over here now. Isti ila ina. This and isti ila is a dead person dried up. Guthrie, because a mummy has been, what do you call it, petrified, I guess. It's been dried out. And that's what that is, Guthrie. I added a tall man in here. A tall man is one of our creatures. Okay? One of our creatures. Istijepko. Nak ihaya. That's one of our cultural things. Shape shifter. Nak is thing. Ihaya means it makes it's somebody that makes themselves into something. Okay? I've had my experiences with shapeshifters in my area because Hannah was the most cultural, traditional place to grow up in. And I grew up in that town. And it was the most Creek speaking. There were a lot of Stijadis there. And they all spoke the language. And we lived in, some people call it Deliverance. Y'all remember the movie Deliverance? They believed in things like this, And everybody had their own little stories that lived there about Hannah. In fact, some people didn't want to come to Hannah. But we didn't see anything. It was just that we were very cultural and traditional people that lived there. And some of the people that from Hannah moved off, but they came back. So we were we were speaking. Now we don't have anybody. They all died out. And that happened, in the community. Because they were elders. Okay. Verbs. I want you to learn verbs because this is what we use all the time. Okay? You're never ever doing absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. You're always doing something. Okay? Like me, my high is I'm teaching. Present tense. Okay? My high is anytime you're speaking language, you're going to find one of these in your infinitive verb. If you went through your dictionary and found all these infinitive verbs, you're going to find you're going to be doing any one of these. Excuse me. So, all this verb is what infinitive verbs you need to learn because you're verb component. You can be doing anything. You're always doing something or nothing. Okay? Even doing nothing is saying you're doing something and must go. Okay? So, he just, I'm looking or seeing. I'm running, Likas. And this running, Likas, get off the west. Hear that, the west? You're saying, I am running. Same thing. The west means I am running. Likes, you're just adding to it. So when I say I'm running around, liket afterwards, liket afterwards, okay? Hombres, hombres, I am eating, but you can add anything to that. Osafkin hombres, okay? Hombre the highest, look. Hombre is infinitive because it's got the EPL, but if I say highest, means I am making food. I am making it. Hombre the highest, hombre the nieces. Hombre is food, but when you say you're buying it, it means grocery shopping, okay? It means you're shopping for food. See how this hombre is being used. And you're doing something. Nieces means I am buying. No fedes, I am cooking. Hombre solgin, no fedes, I am cooking a lot of food. Hombre solgin, nieces, I'm buying a lot of food. There's different ways to use this infinitive verbs, guys. And that's what we need to learn. A lot of people don't understand, that infinitive verbs is, that's what we are. Oko Akoban is, I'm playing ball. Ileges, I'm just sitting. E is like an expression. Ileges. That's saying, oh, just sit. Okay? And you'll hear that, ileges. Nagin don't let us go ileges. I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting. Okay? Yagabes, I am walking. Hobein Yagabes, I'm walking far. Andolguts, Andolgushi, Yagabes. I'm the only one walking. Nini Labuki, Yagabes. I'm walking on a straight road. That can mean anything, guys. That can mean you're walking right. I'm walking on a straight road, or you are walking down a straight road. For real, just walking down a straight road. Anything, and this is a big part of your language. This is one of them. Hijayunks. Hadi hijayunga. Hadi hijayunks. Hijayunks. Hadi hijayunks. I did. They just buried a girl here Saturday. I just saw her about a week and a half ago. I said, how do you mean, Jones? I just saw her. Jones, you can do anything with these infinitive verbs and just putting them together. Humbayanks. Stin humbayanks. Listen. Stin humbayanks. I ate with somebody. I ate for somebody. Stin humbayanks. I ate with somebody. Bonayans, I talked. For funding Bonayans, I talked a long time. Or you could say, Hifkinaga, for funding Bonayans. The preacher talked a long time. Yagabagas, Yagabanks, Yagabanks, Yagabanks. Obeying Yagabanks, I walked far. For funding Yagabanks, I walked a long time. See how these can be used? Future tense. This has got the ending feast. Hijafis, I will see. But you can use it anywhere, guys. It's hijida. It's the infinitive verb. Hilish hayan hijafis. I will see the medicine man. Alicha hijafis. I will see the doctor. Ifkin hijafis. Bonayans. Bonayans. Bonayans means somebody did. Bonayans means I did. Okay. Bonayans. You're saying like Chesky Bonayans, my father spoke. But if you say Bonayans, Fufunin Bonayans, I spoke. Okay. Right, Thor. So, even future tense, hijatis, not hijatis, I will see. Litgatis, I will run. Obeying Litgatis, I will run far. Humbatis, Taton Humbatis, boxing. I will eat fish tomorrow. Saturday Bonayatis, Saturday Bonayatis, Saturday. I will talk Saturday. See, all this is you're going to be, you can use this, and this is where some of these right here is going to come in. Let's grill hamburgers. Look here. Let's grill some hamburgers. That is a verb. Let's grill some hamburgers. Hamburger, podubagis. Look here. Hamburger is burgers. Podubagis, grill. Geese is let's. Let's. Okay. I missed this. Yeah. Yeah. So see how this is going, guys? This is Podobida is an infinitive verb to bake, but we call it grill. Podobadis. Let's grill burgers. Do you have a recipe? It's still made. Hayida oji chidua. It's still made is how. Hayida to make. Porchat. That's written. Oji chidua you have. Hayida is an infinitive verb. Okay? But when you do it this way, you're saying, do you have? I usually make everything from scratch, and this is true for me. I make everything from scratch. I don't, well, we might have light bread, and we might have, but everything I cook is I cook. I cook. Well, last night we had pork and beans, and I didn't cook that. I opened the can last night. Other than that, everything I make is scratch. Thanksgiving, Christmas, I make everything from scratch. I don't use stove top. I make my own dressing. I don't use canned or jar gravy. I make my own giblet gravy. I don't use canned sweet potatoes because my kids and my husband, they don't like it. But of course, they don't have to cook it. I do. But I buy fresh and I cook everything. I make candied sweet potatoes out of fresh potatoes. I don't use boxed mashed potatoes, instant mashed potatoes. I use the real potatoes. I make everything from scratch. My pies are made from scratch. My cobblers are made from scratch. I don't buy a pie crust or anything. I make my own. I make my own stuff. And that's the way they want it. But that's grandma in me. Okay? That's the grandma. Knock. Ami dot Hayi Beduis. Look at that. This says I usually just make everything from scratch. That's English. But knock is things. Ami dot myself. Hayi Beduis. I make it myself. Things myself I make. That's all it is right there. But this is what makes this language so different. So different. So that's why I'm going to start doing this. So y'all can start hearing, like, we have to heat up the oven first. stove, heat, have to. We have to heat the stove first. Okay? Y'all can read the English parts a lot. I'm just going to do the Muskogee, okay? Ahajitihi galafichiha. Galafichiha. Potatoes is ahajitihi. Peel is galafit. Could you peel the potatoes? Ahajitihi galafichiha. Galavit means peel, and that's peel anything. Yalaha galafit. Babas. Peel the orange before you eat it. Sadatako galavas. Peel the apple. Because it's got BS at the end, it is a command. Galavas. Sadatako galavas. See? This is going to be, can you slice vegetables? Look here though. Galavit is peel. And the infinitive verb to this is galafida. To peel. Naklani diwatichiha. Naklani is greens. Anything that's green. Mustard greens, lettuce is cut it up. Okay. Any questions so far on this? Diwafit means cut it. Go ahead.
Okay. Nothing that. Kumbaga Potobi.
Huh? You kind of got a static.
Kumbaga Potobi.
Paramaga. Is there some static going on? Somebody's got static, or you? One of somebody. I can't hardly hear you.
Well, I'll get on a different phone and I'll try again later.
Okay. So see, this is galafit is peel, wafit is to cut. Okay, and greens can be anything, and you can specify. We don't have a word for mustard greens. We don't have a word for mustard greens, so we call it musta. Lettuce, we don't have a word for lettuce, so we call it lani baka. But we have a word for no, we don't have some words like green beans, dalaklani, but that's or dalak chapko. Chapko means long beans. Some of them are descriptive. So see how we're talking here. I need to cut the ham. Shokahavi the water in jayatstos. Look here though, right here. Shokahavi is ham. Diwafiden to cut. Jayastos. I want to cut the ham. Pig thigh to cut need. I need to cut it. Diwafiden is to cut up. Jayats means I want. Here it says I need. So see, need and want in our language is the same. I need to, but I want to. See? So if I told the speaker, Shokahabi diwadan jayastos, I want to cut a pig thigh up. Well, then somebody would say, well, let me do it. Because I don't have need in there at all. I just have I want. See? Pig thigh to cut I have, okay? Shokahabi diwathidan. Diwathidan. Diwathida is the infinitive verb to cut up. Dolosi, Horobida, Alezi, Aleji Jahanaya. Chicken grill, start should I? Okay. Is the water boiling yet? Or Mosca? That's all it is. I can go to you and say, is the water boiling yet? But in Muskogee, all I have to say is, what Mosca? Is water boiling? Or Mosca? Is water boiling. But the way the tone is, or Mosca? How many cups of flour do we need? Look, how many cups of flour do we need? Ochkadi siskida najumin boyaja. Boyaja means we need or we want. How many cups of flour do we want? Because yajida is infinitive, but when we say boyaja, we need. Okay, because here it says we need. So I'm going to say, how many cups of flour do we want? But in English it says, do we need? How many cups of flour do we want? Because that really don't, say like in a recipe. How many cups of flour do we need? Flour cup, how many we need? Should be how many we want right here. Boyaja. Bo is third person. Hoskadi, siskida. Hoskadi is flour, siskida is cup. Najumin, how many? Boyaja, we want. See how this language can really go into different ways and different avenues. Okay? See how we're going with this. What kind of seasoning should we add? We don't have a word for seasoning. Like, we got a word for salt and pepper, but they're not just talking about salt and pepper. They're talking about like cumin. Okay? Cumin, rosemary. They're talking about stuff like that. So it says nagi, abayahania. We didn't say seasoning. We said, what are we going to add? What are we going to add? Because we don't have seasoning. We're just going to say what we're going to add. Okay? Look here. Excuse me. Just add a pinch of salt. A pinch means what? Like this. A pinch. Little bit. We don't have pinch in our language, but we have a little bit. Istosi. Istosi. Okchanwan. Istosi abayas. Salt, very little, add it. Just add only a pinch of salt. Because you know the way English is saying, a pinch is like this. Just a pinch. But in our language, it means little bit. Istosi. And anything can be in a pinch. Homoji istosi abayas. Add a pinch of pepper. Homoji istosi abayas. Okjanwan istosi abayas. Okjanwan is salt. Istosin abayas. So when we say istosin, listen to tone. Istosin means little bit. That's a pinch. Okay? That's a pinch. Now look here, I can make a vinaigrette for the salad. Vinaigrette. We call vinegar like
We all up at the same time for lunch.
I think
Yeah.
You're supposed to
I
be.
need to turn her mic off.
One goes and then the other one goes in case there's somebody.
Is your
there.
mic on, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, one always has to stay for lunch when the other one's gone to lunch. You don't want to leave the office. Since there's two of you.
There you go. Okay. If I say make a vinaigrette, there is no word for vinaigrette. I think I'm thinking here that oh, I know, Jonathan. When I say lani babka, salad. We don't have a word for something. Okay, but it says mixed up green things to eat. Lani babka sidi yamgat. Sidi yamgat means all mixed together. Okay, just put together. Sok janida. Sok janida is something to pour on. To pour on it. Sok janida, to pour on it. Okay. See, we don't have a word for vinaigrette, but what we said was we got something to pour on the mixed green. It doesn't even have to be vinaigrette. It can mean Thousand Island. It can mean ranch. It can mean any kind, something to pour on your salad. This is where situation, you would just sit it on the table and say, you want something to pour on it? And you have this already, they can just see it. You don't have to name it in Muskogee. Does that make sense to y'all? Is this making sense? I think, if I'm not mistaken, vinegar, I think they call it widoshi. I think it was. I'm not real sure about that. I'm not positive. I think they called it widoshi. But see, vinaigrette is like a dressing, isn't it? my I think it was my little grandson. He asked for ranch. And we went and got pizza is what we did for him. And we got back home and he said he was asking for ranch. He goes, ranch stuff. Ranch stuff. How about ranch? But he didn't say ranch, he said ranch stuff. Duck means what? How about? Remember? How about? Duck. That one word means how about, so he said ranch stuff. And he didn't say ranch the way it's supposed to be, he said ranch stuff. Ranch. See, he was making it into Muskogee, which I don't even know if he knew he was. He said ranch stuff. How about ranch? But he didn't say it that way. And I kind of got tickled, but I never said anything, but me and my husband exchanged a look. But none of the kids, none of his siblings thought anything about it. They brought the packets out for him, excuse me. So janida is to pour over, okay, to pour into. So that can mean anything. Thousand Island, and that's where situation comes in, okay? Situation. Lani babka means green, something to eat. Sidi yamgi is something stirred up or something mixed. Sok janida, to pour onto. I got this, I'll make something to pour onto the green stuff. Y'all have any questions with that? Because this is really going in depth here. Okay? In depth. This is explaining what this is saying. Like pinch, we don't have pinch. We got pinch to pinch somebody, iglida. Iglida is an infinitive verb to pinch. But we don't have the little pinch, like pinch of salt. It's just doing washing, okay? Doing washing. Any questions? Does that make sense to y'all? Are y'all totally confused now? Thor?
Yeah, Aboga OJ's on that Umbaga Umbaga Hotabagus,
Yeah, Hamburger. A hamburger. That's how we said hamburger.
Hamburger, hotabagas,
There you go, hamburger.
hamburger, hotabagas,
Hodobagis. Hodobagis.
hodobagis. Can you also say that hodobagits?
No, you can't say gets. Hodobagits.
It has to be hodobagis.
Hodobagis.
I thought that Mvhayv Eli would use gits, hodobagits. But she'd have a DC in with it, DC in with it, and you don't. So,
I
so
don't.
that does not sound right to you. Hadobagits.
No.
It's got to be hadobagis.
And that's it depends on what she was saying. She said, like I said, let's grill some burgers. So hamburger hodobagis, that's exactly saying let's grill burgers, okay? But now hodobagis, is that what she said?
Well, GEDC. Hadobagits. Hadobagits.
No,
Or ohonagits. Let's read.
Yeah,
But you're saying I heard it wrong. It's got to be ohonagis. Ohonagis. Let's read.
yeah, let's read, see? Let's read ohonagis. Let's look, hijagis. So that geese is let's, okay?
Okay, Inga, Mado.
Okay, I hope that answered your question. Okay, I got about 3 minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm starting to, I get hoarse here and start blowing my nose. I still got the effects of COVID. And so, but you know, if y'all have any questions, y'all know my email address. Just email it to me and I can address it on classes, okay? I haven't finished here, but you know, I wanted to get this across like, see, recipe, we don't have a word for recipe. So we said horchot, things that are written, horchot. How to make rope you have, it's to me how you the horchot. Horchot means written. But this is situation because it says it's to me how you da. It's to me means how. How you da to make. Horchot, do you have? Because we don't have a word for recipe, we just have to say something. How to make it that is written. Okay? How to make it that how it's written. So, see, this is literally telling you how we're speaking, how you're going to speak. Okay. Jado hey, Jado hey, oh hi, hey chido, Jado hi. It's supposed to be hey. Hey means hot rock. We don't have, and it's steel. The Jado is situation environment. Jado lusty is steel. Jado is rock, but there's still that situation environment that comes in, okay? There's still that situation environment that comes in with that. There's so much that I wanna go through. I got some more things coming, like those law phrases. I even got months with the holidays that go with it. So we're gonna do that here. Waiting on Desiree, because I have to send my work to her computer and then she downloads it onto this board. That's how we do it. It's easier that way. So if you just, all right, guys, it's almost 1 o'clock. Chihita got this. Let's see, Bakshi Asan. Asan means over there. So Bakshi is tomorrow. It's saying tomorrow over there. Bakshi Asan. Okay? See how it sounds? Bakshi Asan. All right. So see how that, hello everybody, you know, yesterday I was telling people, I have so much respect for people that's trying to learn this, because I was trying to explain to one person, we have now 100,000 citizens, and our guesstimate is maybe 1,000 speakers left. Look at the ratio. The ratio is not good for us, you know, and I told him, I said, you know, I think every one of you is going to help us To keep this language alive. So and that's how come I'm going into this right here and explaining everything. It may take a while, but if you, and I'm gonna keep back going over it, okay? Until we get this, how this is spoken and how it's written in English. Oh, I know what you hit, I got this. Mado, you get said, Ayibis. Mado.
Blue.